from their studio in an interrogation room in Gotham.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
No, my question, I get to go first. Why in perfect hell would you pee on a corpse?
Talk radio.
You want me to put the hammer down?
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
Don't laugh! This ain't reality TV!
As far as the actual job's concerned, it's a piece of piss. A monkey could do it. That's what I thought of you.
Welcome to Filmgoat.
Welcome to Filmgoat. Welcome to Filmgoat.
Welcome to Filmgoat.
You're live.
Hey. It's November 17th, 2015. This is Filmgoat. I'm Michael.
I'm Jason.
I'm David.
And we're doing our weekly Oscar run-through where we look at the Oscar winners of years past. And we're now arrived to the 90s, 1990. The year of Dances with Wolves. But what else was nominated, David?
Well, Awakenings, Ghost, The Godfather Part 3, and Goodfellas.
A good year.
Yeah, that
For what not one.
that must have been a tough decision there.
Maybe they were swept up with dances.
It's white guilt. That's why that won.
But it's going to be a little hard to talk about dances because we have a strict banning policy here.
Yeah.
And a certain someone that was potentially involved with the movie, we can't talk
Very
about.
involved.
Centrally involved.
He or she, because we don't talk about who it is. They might have won a few other awards, but
May have produced and directed it as well.
and it may have been their life's project, but that's fine.
Directorial debut.
And a horrible one at that. But it's fine. We're talking a lot about someone who we can't talk about.
Yeah, let's move on
Move
to something
on.
we can talk about, like Goodfellas.
Which should have won.
Yes, that should have won,
Right.
hands down.
So what was nominated again? Ghost, Awakenings. I don't know.
Awakening.
God-
Awakenings should have won, actually.
I
The
think
Godfather
Ghost.
Part 3.
That was also nominated?
Yeah,
So it was Goodfellas and The Godfather Part
Yeah.
3? That's kind of funny.
it is kind of funny.
That shouldn't have won.
No,
They got that
Gangsta.
right.
It's kind of makes me wonder why that's even on there.
Because it was The Godfather, and it's like they had to. It was probably one of those things we've
Wait.
talked about. Like, that was good, right?
They had to.
Was De Niro in Part 3?
No.
Was he even in The Godfather?
He was
He was
in
in Part
Part 2.
Two. Okay.
He plays
Marlon Brando.
a young Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
He kills somebody. He wraps a gun up in a blanket. I was like, that's intense.
Oh, shit.
But the third movie is just all about sad Al Pacino, and then Sofia Coppola, what plays Michael Corleone's daughter in it, and I guess they were supposed to get what was that girl from Beetlejuice, Winona Ryder. She was supposed to be the daughter. And that probably would have made the movie a lot better because Sofia Coppola is like a horrible actress and like a lot of the movie focuses around her and she just kind of is like, yeah, Dad. And, Francis Ford is like, it's great. The Daily's like, it's perfect. And no one knew it. Say no. Hey, it was nominated for Best Picture. What do we know?
Yeah.
Except
Yeah,
it's awful.
clearly we don't know anything.
I mean, spoiler alert for The Godfather Part 3. She gets killed at the end. It's like the best part of the movie. It's like the only
Thank
part
God.
that's good. I mean, yeah. It's like Al Pacino finally does like the best acting in the movie. She's like, no, it does like all the silent screams, it's like drools coming out.
Oh, it's not there. We don't have a crane shot now.
Oh yeah. but Goodfellas, what? Goodfellas is
Yep.
a way better gangster movie than The Godfather Part 3, at least.
Yeah, Pesci actually won for Best Supporting Actor
As he should have.
for that.
Yeah, I mean that was a performance.
I mean, he's
Get your
probably,
fucking shine box.
He's probably.
Even though he doesn't say that line.
No.
That line
It is said to
that
him.
is said to him.
Oh no! Oh, we know what happens there.
No, the most famous line I think. Would you say from that movie is the clown one, right?
Yeah.
You think I'm a clown?
Well,
Am I-
I'm
am
funny,
I a
I'm
clown
funny
to
how?
you?
Like a clown.
And it's super intense because this guy he's playing is like so off the chain, and you like see him just like kill the shit out of people like for like nothing. It's
Well,
pretty
yeah,
intense.
yeah,
Like that
he's-
movie, like my father, he went and saw that movie in theaters. And he told me a story that the movie was freaking him out so much he went to go to the bathroom in the middle of the movie and he thought he was going to get whacked, and like someone was going to come and shoot him for no reason, put him in the trunk. Like, hey, Mom, can I borrow your steak knife? Like, why don't you go bring a nice girl home? He's like, I bring a nice girl home every night. It's great. He's great. That whole movie's great. And Robert De Niro is also, that's when he's still, everything he was in was solid.
He was also in The Awakenings and also nominated for
Awakenings.
Best Actor.
For Awakenings.
Yeah, for Awakenings.
They had to give him something. And that was probably when he was still just getting nominated for.
Nah, it was an amazing role for him. Yeah, like he did a really great job with it.
That's true. It is a really good movie. It's also got Robin Williams in it.
Yeah,
Whip.
Williams. Yeah, that's great.
I mean, Robin Williams.
And it also had Marge Simpson in it.
Now, we were talking about last episode was people getting nominated when they play people with a particular affliction.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there was something at play there with Awakenings?
Possibly, yeah, because it was about people who had suffered encephalitis.
Yeah.
So, like, he was paraplegic for a good part of the film.
This is true.
Yeah. But yeah, lost out to Dances with Wolves.
Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, took it down.
For Best Picture, not for Best Actor though. Who won Best Actor that year?
Ron Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy won Best Actor.
Jeremy Irons for
Ron Jeremy.
Reversal of Fortune.
I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, I
Jeremy
I
Irons-
actually watched it. It was pretty good. His performance was really nice. I just didn't feel like seeing this. I wanted to bring this up is the lead character in a film always going to be nominated for Best Actor, or you get what I'm trying to say there?
I do. I mean, there's been a few times. I mean, what? It's going to next year already. Anthony Hopkins won Best Actor for 91. He's only in the movie for like 20 minutes. He only shows up a few times. It's really just about Clarice and like trying to get Buffalo Bill. But he got Best Actor, even though it should have been like probably supporting. And then there's, in jumping way ahead, Jamie Foxx was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, even though for Collateral, even though he basically was the main character.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Because like Reversal of Fortune, Jeremy Irons, won the award for Best Actor, but Ron Silver played the main character, and I felt like the story sort of revolved around him and how he was, because he played the guy's lawyer, and how he was, handling the case.
Ron Jeremy Silver.
That's why that happened.
Got Ron Jeremy out of mind.
Yeah, exactly. But
so I don't know. Maybe it's kind of a political thing that the actor is their name.
Yeah, exactly.
It's who they are. So it's like, oh yeah.
Even though Ron Silver, I mean, everyone must know was the bad guy in Time Cop.
Obviously, that's where I know him from. But so I guess what else? What else won in 1990? What won for the screenplay?
Best adapted screenplay was Dances with Wolves.
Best original screenplay was Ghost.
Yeah.
Ghost. So original. Love even conquers death.
Transcends death.
And you can do all sorts of other stuff, like make pots. That movie was great. My mom used to watch the movie all the time, and I didn't understand why. I think I do.
Whoopi Goldberg won Best Supporting Actress for that.
Yeah, Whoopi.
Yeah, right.
Whoopi, just playing Whoopi Goldberg. She just plays Whoopi Goldberg and everything. She's one of those people.
Right.
That's something we should get a list of for like maybe the next episode. Just a list of actors who just play themselves, kind of like Robert Downey Jr. It's like, I'm Iron Man. It's like, but he's just being Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, it's really just Robert Downey
Yeah,
Jr.
there's definitely some, but none of those other than Whoopi happened this year. But she won for playing herself. That's what everyone dreams of, right? But we're gonna move on now to 1991, and what won in 91, David, for Best Picture?
Best Picture was Silence of the Lambs.
Who was the best director?
It was Jonathan Demme for Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, Silence of the Lambs did a clean sweep of the big awards this year.
Best actor was Anthony Hopkins for Silence of the Lambs. Best actress Jodie Foster for Silence of the Lambs.
She's a rube.
Best adapted screenplay.
Silence of the Lambs.
Best original screenplay. Silence of the... Oh, wait.
Was
It's a joke. What was Best Original Screenplay that year, David?
Dick Tracy.
Thelma and Louise.
Oh yeah, Dick Tracy was the previous year. Sorry.
Ridley Scott's Thelma and Louise. I always forget he directed that movie, except for Right Now. Since I just said it, I clearly remembered it. But yeah, 'cause anytime I look at his list of movies, I'm like, that one was good, that one was good. I'm like, oh, Thelma and Louise. It's like, yeah, we're women. That we're not going to get arrested for doing all those awful things. We're just going to kill ourselves. And everyone's like, yeah.
I didn't know Brad Pitt was in that film.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
like a sexy young buck
Yeah.
for the old Susan Sarandon, who I feel like has just been old her whole career. 'Cause she was married to Tim Robbins. Tim Robbins, like,
I don't think they
20
were
years
ever
younger than
married.
him. Yeah, they were married for a long
I
time.
thought they were just together.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
I mean, spending any sort of amount of time around Tim Robbins will probably make you age faster.
But then he dumped her for some young good shit. Yeah, like Tim Robbins is a
Probably.
catch.
That's what you get when you date Tim Robbins.
Andy Dufresne broke up with his wife. Yeah, that's who it is. Susan Sarandon, he killed it. Got sent to Shawshank. But no, Susan Sarandon's still with us.
After meeting in Bull Durham.
Maybe they did. Maybe they did. So, what else was nominated in 91?
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. First animated nomination.
indeed.
Bugsy, JFK, and The Prince of Tides.
Seems like Oliver Stone was getting nominated like every year
Right.
after Platoon.
And then who else? Who else made an appearance? He who shall not be named.
He who shall be JFK. But so Beauty and the Beast, pretty good movie. That was when Disney. Now it's all about Pixar, but starting with like The Little Mermaid the year before, started that animation renaissance, and that went with like Aladdin and The Lion King is where some people think it peaked. But some people think The Beauty and the Beast is the best one. It's definitely solid. The animation is really good. It's got Gaston.
It won Best Original Song, I do believe, too.
Well, yeah. What else is going to win? Silence of the Lambs. It's like, I remember that song and dance number at the end. That was great. Like the Bollywood.
Goodbye
ending.
Horses.
Goodbye Horses.
Nice, yeah. I'd fuck me so hard.
Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. Ding, ding.
Whatever. Anywho.
We could just do Buffalo Bill impressions for the next 15 minutes, but we won't.
Well, okay, so here's the Best Actor nominees for 91. Was Anthony Hopkins obviously won. Warren Beatty for Bugsy. Robert De Niro, Cape Fear.
Yeah, one.
Nick Nolte for The Prince of Tides, and Robin Williams for The Fisher King.
Nick Nolte also being in Cape Fear.
Yes.
Yes.
But here's something interesting that I wanted to bring up about Max Cady from Cape Fear, is he has some striking similarities to the Joker.
Who's Robert De Niro's character, by
Yes.
the way.
His hair obviously looks similar to the Joker's.
And we're talking about Christopher Nolan's Joker from The Dark Knight.
Yes.
Not Jack Nicholson's
Yeah,
Joker
not Jack
from
Nicholson.
the year before this.
Because that looks like Jack Nicholson wearing Joker makeup. Anyway, so
Jack Nicholson, another actor who plays himself in a lot of movies.
there's a part in the film where Max Cady calls Nick Nolte's daughter in the film
Juliette Lewis.
And is pretending to be her high school drama teacher. And in that scene, he's hanging upside down, and the camera is upside down as well. So he's being filmed to where he looks like he's right side up, just like the ending of The Dark Knight, where the Joker's hanging upside down. Another thing is he's dressed up like a woman before he kills somebody.
The nurse outfit, of course.
Yeah, the nurse outfit as a Joker,
From
and
the
then
Joker.
the
When he blows up the
maid,
hospital.
the housekeeper in Cape Fear. He's dressed up as before he kills the PI helping out Nick Nolte. Anyway, final thing, climax. Both involves boats.
Yes. There's only one boat in Cape Fear, though.
Only one boat, yes.
But what a boat it is.
But yeah, but still, they both involve being on water.
Cape Fear,
I'm not saying that Nolan lifted a lot from this character, but it's definitely as we talked about it, there was a lot of parallels. Take what you will from that.
Nick Nolte should have been Batman. That's what I took from it.
Ugh.
Cape Fear.
God, that was terrible.
I feel like Cape Fear is one of the Scorsese movies that people kind of don't always remember. I mean, everyone always remembers like Goodfellas, The Departed, Taxi Driver, but Cape Fear is really, a lot of his movies are really good.
Yeah,
Casino
definitely.
is one of the ones. Casino, I think a lot of people kind of know about.
Well, we're coming up on the break, but before we go, since we're talking about Scorsese, last time I asked you to pick which director you thought had the best all-around body of work, and you all said Scorsese. So let's do this time. Which do you think is his best film?
Oh.
Start with Michael.
I don't know what I think his best film is. My favorite film would probably be The Departed. Like the first time I watched that movie, it was absolutely insane. Either that or Goodfellas. Goodfellas is just fantastic.
So your pick being the one he actually won an award for.
Yeah, I think his best movie is probably Goodfellas. I mean, he was kind of always working up to that, and it was like a very epic crime, gangster saga, and it's all around good. But I like The Departed. For the first viewing, it's just Goodfellas. You can watch more, I feel like. But
What about you, Jason?
I'm probably going to go with Taxi Driver.
It's a good pick.
Yeah, with a second. Not a lot of people, liked it, but Shutter Island, I
also good.
enjoyed.
Yeah. A
I
shout
like
out.
Cape Fear.
Shout out for Shutter Island.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to. I'll pick The Departed since you already picked Goodfellas. The Departed is I can watch that movie over and over again. It just never gets old. It's a pretty long movie too.
So is Goodfellas.
And so is Goodfellas. And that just is a testament to his abilities as a director to keep the audience engaged
For the whole time.
Yeah.
Even Mark Wahlberg is good at that movie.
Yeah, and
He was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. That's how good of a director Martin Scorsese is. Anyway, guys.
all right, we'll be back.
Hey guys, we are back. This is Filmgoat. In this segment, we're going to talk about extended editions of films, director's cut, whatever terminology you prefer to use. Some of them are kind of good, some of them are kind of bad. So I'm going to throw the question out to my cohorts here. What is your favorite extended cut of a movie?
Oh, I wouldn't happen to know. Probably the one that's coming first to my mind is Alexander.
That's your favorite?
Well, it made the movie better by cutting the time off of it and taking out some of the unnecessary fat, I guess.
I think the whole movie was unnecessary. Unfortunately, it didn't really improve it. But hey, that's your opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
God
Damn it, it's my opinion.
Who is Michael to tell you you're wrong?
It's true. I mean, Alexander is gonna destroy our friendship, just like he destroyed
What
all sorts of
friendship?
other stuff. Yeah, it's true.
Well, I would say my favorite, director's cut would be Blade Runner, because it gets rid of the god-awful voiceover that is used in the theatrical.
Yeah, it's like Harrison Ford. It's almost like they did one take of all the voiceover, and he's just so lethargic. It's like, yeah, all this stuff was happening. I was chasing some replicants. It's like you can understand what he's doing by just watching the movie, and that's something we actually have talked about here. We prefer in films for the film to show the story, not to beat us over the head with dialogue saying this is what's happening, this is why it's doing it. Sometimes director's cut can do that.
Yeah.
For instance, Dark City. Basically, the only thing that's changed is they cut out a monologue at the beginning that kind of ruins things that happen.
It kind of ruins it. Pretty much, they're towards the end of the film, there's kind of these revelations that come out in Dark City,
to say the least.
That makes it really interesting. But I guess the studio didn't think that people would be interested in the film if they had to sit there and watch it and figure it out. So they had,
Kiefer Sutherland.
Sutherland came and recorded a voiceover for it, and I think the director pretty much disowned the movie after that.
And he had a really weird speech impediment, something. I don't know what was going on.
He was always out of breath every time he talked.
He was like a mad German scientist in space. Spoiler alert. That was Alex Proyas, right? He made The Crow.
Yeah.
And I, Robot. I didn't know he disowned it.
I don't want to say he disowned that cut of the movie. He was like, he didn't like it.
That's the guy who's doing that new movie I was watching the trailer for, the Egyptian God movie.
That he's directing that?
Yeah.
Oh, Egypt. That's basically what it's called, folks. Like Gods of Egypt.
Gods of Egypt, yeah.
The Egyptian God movie. It stars 300's Leonidas, Gerard Butler. But Hopefully, there's no extended.
Oh,
cut of
and
that movie.
Eat hearty.
Nicola Costa-Waldau, Jamie Lannister from Game of Thrones.
That's right. But enough about that movie.
This
There's no extended cut. It hasn't even come out yet.
Goat.
Yeah.
No Game
Maybe
of Thrones
one day.
here.
Like that voiceover at the beginning of Dark City, that'd be comparable to another extended edition or special edition, as they call it, of a movie called The Empire Strikes Back, where they have added a scene earlier in the movie where the Emperor tells Darth Vader that Anakin Skywalker is, Luke's father, and he basically just reveals like the plot twist, which is Darth Vader's Luke's father. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, if anyone hasn't figured that out.
Yeah.
No,
But I mean,
Sorry.
but just because you know it, and I guess George Lucas was changing it because you're supposed to watch it like 1 through 6 now. But that's basically the voiceovers. It's just ruining it, making some weird continuity, and of course those special editions. I think we all can agree are not very special.
Yeah, let's talk about those for a second.
It's like clearly Greedo shot first. That's Han did it. And
but watch seeing all those dewbacks riding through
Yeah.
Mos Eisley. That was wonderful.
Oh yeah, that the horrible CGI in Mos Eisley was totally necessary.
Yeah, that opening scene when they get there. You can actually see that guy from Shadows of the Empire, the video game. You can see his ship like flying away. Like that's the only good thing they added into it. Apparently it's not even canon anymore.
Nope.
So who cares?
Really?
But it's in the movie.
This isn't Game Goat.
Yeah, this isn't Game Goat.
It was also a book, but this isn't book.
This isn't Book Goat. I think the goat would eat the book. But A New Hope is clearly the one they messed up the most. Like just
What, the
adding
Jabba the
random
Hutt
Ja-
scene?
yeah, the Jabba the Hutt scene.
Yeah, where originally he was like a dude, like wearing like a fur coat, and like
yeah.
Han Solo, Harrison Ford walks behind him, and so to fix that, they just make him step on his tail, and they're in the midst of this conversation. Also, he's like, "What?" Like this stupid moment. It's like, how are we gonna fix that? And awkwardly, Harrison Ford just goes up in the air, goes over, goes down. So that's pretty bad. There was no reason to add that scene except for to be like, hey, look, here's Jabba.
Yeah.
He doesn't even look like Jabba.
It looks terrible.
Yeah. And then in Empire Strikes Back, when they're on Bespin, seeing through the glass, that was really nice too.
I mean, that was kind of cool. See, little things like that were okay. And in A New Hope, I guess in that scene when they're going towards the Death Star, in the original movie, it just shows the X-Wings, their S-foils open, and then it shows them heading towards it. In the new one of the cool things they did is they actually connected the shot so it just turns and follows watching the X-Wings. Like a few little things like that are fine. But then you make Greedo shoot first. Like, why? What was the point?
Just trying to justify Han Solo.
It's
shooting
like, we get it, like-
because he wanted Han Solo to not be that bad of a guy. But that's the whole point of the scene was to show how kind of ruthless he was.
It was Mos Eisley.
And like it or not, I'm sure the Star Wars universe kind of plays by similar rules. It's pretty dog eat dog out there, I'm sure.
Yeah, especially Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
But then it could have also shown more for character development also, because he comes back and saves the day at the end. Starts off as a ruthless kind of guy who's shooting at people,
Yeah.
and then can come back and save the
he's-
universe.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it was supposed to do. That's what happened. They got it right the first time.
Yeah.
And
know
George
why he
Lucas
messed
got
with it.
greedy.
So something similar that Dune, the Alan Smithy cut.
Quite similar. And for those who don't know, Alan Smithy.
Spice.
Alan Smithy is the name that directors use when they basically have disowned a film and they have to. Someone directed it, so they usually just put Alan Smithy. And I think they do a similar thing with a screenwriter thing. I don't even know if they use the same name. But
Probably.
probably. So Alan Smithy's made
don't have
a
that
lot
information
of
for
great
us.
movies. It was actually David Lynch who directed it. I don't know why he disowned the Alan Smithy version that just added a few things
It added 40 minutes.
that apparently explains things, makes a few things clearer what's happening in the Atreides Harkonnen battle. But David Lynch's version, I guess he's fine with the original one, which is really weird.
Well, I mean, he loves films that aren't coherent.
Or make any sense. Yeah, it's like,
So it's suiting to him.
like Mulholland Drive, which is just an hour and a half of kind of a good movie, and then everyone turns into a different character halfway through the movie, and nothing makes sense. Like literally just a whole 40 minutes of strangeness happens. It's like they wake up and like, oh, by the way, now I'm a lesbian and I'm that character's name, and he never says anything.
Well, and what's interesting though, about David Lynch is, as we were talking about before, movies that we have to read rather than listen to them tell us the story. Mulholland Drive is a good example of that, where it's pretty much entirely reading. There's not a lot the film's going to tell you. Like, it's pretty frustrating to view a movie that's almost entirely like that. So,
And the first part of that movie was good though, and then it just stopped making sense. Like it's almost like I think they were originally making Mulholland Drive as like an HBO TV series, and then they're like, no, we're not. We're just gonna turn it into a movie. It's like, okay, well, we got to add like 40 extra minutes. What if it just made no sense at all? David Lynch, he's made some interesting movies, I suppose. The only movie I think that the weirdness and then actual story structure like coalesced into a coherent movie was Blue Velvet. That's a good one.
yeah.
Dune, not so much. I mean, anytime I think of Dune, I just think of You Are the Kid Arc, Sadorok, or whatever the little girl yells at the end, and then the big fat Baron Harkonnen just flies into the mouth of a giant worm.
The tooth.
And the spice.
Can't forget the tooth.
Yeah, the tooth. And the spice
Poison
that
tooth.
rules the world is just worm shit. They even say it. Just these giant worms.
That makes you hallucinate.
Oh, yeah. Muad'Dib. That movie was strange. The book was good, but yeah, that movie is
The sleeper has awoken.
Well, let's switch gears and go to a different realm of extended films that they have, like the comedy movies, the unrated versions.
Oh, yeah.
Which of those do you find to be the most satisfying?
I'm not sure. There's a lot, because it seems like they make an unrated version of almost every film. One that comes to mind is Team America.
Yeah.
And the only part I really know that they extended is the puppet sex scene in the middle of the movie where there's some bodily functions that are going on.
At the golden shower.
And a Cleveland steamer. It's pretty funny. I'm sure there's a few other, but like when it comes to comedy movies, I feel like less is more, or at least that's the way it should be, because some comedy movies that have been coming out lately have been like super long. Like all these Seth Rogen movies, like almost 2 hours. So I feel like extending a comedy movie, like, because no one's really watching it for the story usually. It's like, yeah, you could throw in a few more fart jokes in there, which kind of could be funny, but I feel like eventually you could lose the momentum.
Yeah, I mean, after like 2.5 hours, I think that's probably that's why like Funny People. I
Not
had
a funny
hard-
movie.
Yeah, by the 2.5 hour mark, this is too long. Like and even that movie Ted, the one with the
bear,
yeah,
the teddy
bear.
bear.
The
Seth MacFarlane.
Seth
joint.
MacFarlane, thank you. Yeah, he made that. And to me, that was like 5 minutes too long. Like it just kind of wore out its welcome. By the end of it, I just kind of want to get out of the theater.
And 5, 10, 15 minutes can really make a big difference, like in running time. Just, it's always good to keep it tight. And even a comedy we enjoy here, Dewey Cox, is pretty long.
Yeah, and that extended version, I mean, that adds some good stuff.
It does, but I don't know if it's needed.
Yeah, it's still a little long. I would say, if I had to pick one, I would say Grandma's Boy adds some pretty good jokes.
It does.
Adds some pretty good jokes that I'm pretty happy.
That's an underrated one,
Yeah.
I feel, because it came out and it looked like it was going to be just trash. Adam Sandler presents Grandma's Boy. I'm like, yeah, I'll rush to the theaters to see that.
Before we go, how about you guys tell me, since I just shared mine, what you would think would be an unrated version of a movie that actually had something added to it.
Like, what do you mean? Which one we like?
Yeah, or unrated, extended, whatever.
Well, I chose Team America.
Okay, that's true. You picked Team America.
I mean, one that I've mentioned to my cohorts here before would be Kingdom of Heaven, which the movie that came out in theaters is just like an action movie trailer for the real movie. Like, it explains a lot of, like, one of the main characters, Eva Green or whatever the actress's name is, she like loses her mind at the end of the movie, like cuts her hair off, and it makes no sense. Like, I'm like, I guess she's really sad that their town is about to get sacked, but in the extended cut, it explains a lot of her motivations. It even makes Orlando Bloom tolerable, which he's still the worst part of that movie. He can't fix everything. You can't just CGI a new person. But Kingdom of Heaven would definitely be my favorite extended cut.
How about you, Jason?
I'm drawing a blank.
I love Aliens as well.
Yeah.
The Sentry Guns.
I mean, nothing like 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, none of those do it for
I
you?
was probably going to go with Wedding Crashers.
Wedding Crashers?
But,
okay.
I've only seen the I've seen the the uncorked version so many times. I can't even remember what they added.
Yeah, there's some extended cuts,
Yeah,
like
that's true.
the aliens that I mentioned.
I
I'm
think
used
maybe
to
it was
that.
just more language.
Yeah,
probably.
and maybe like a few
extra
extra
boobs.
jokes. With what's his face, Vince Vaughn riffing.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what he does.
Before we go here, I just want to tell anybody listening out there that we are developing a show for Noise Fox, which is a platform for podcasts. And we aren't set on a name yet, but when we have more information, we will let you know.
Indeed.
But yeah, that's it, guys.
Have a good day, everybody.
Bye bye.